Today we're going to talk about how to make extra pockets for enclosing things like bimini bars. And you can see in this model I've actually got a bimini bar here and maybe one here and here as well. And so what I'm going to do is, by looking at a top view of this, I'm going to take the meshes that go through the bimini bars, and let's say we've got these right here. I'm going to let's make a copy of those meshes here. And the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select those meshes, and I'm going to go to the MPanel tool, which is convert mesh into panels. I'm going to make one panel out of those. So I've made a panel here and made a panel here. Let's get rid of that. All right. So the next thing I need to do is I know that I need, let's say, a bimini pocket here, here, and on this one here. So I'm going to make a copy of these, as I call them sacrificial panels. But the reason I do that is I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to use the Rhino Ungroup tool. Now what that does is that gives me the bottom, right, top, and left of that flat panel. Alright, so any panel that I want to make a bimini pocket off of, a bar pocket, I'm going to use the Rhino Mirror command, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror that so that I actually get a mirrored image of it. And let's mirror every one of these, and I'm giving it a mirrored line. And again, let's mirror this one and give it a mirror line. Okay, now that I have that, I need to use let's use the offset command. I'm going to type in offset, and I've got to give it a distance. Let's give it a 4-inch offset. And let's make sure I'm selected first. Let's use the offset command. The side to offset is going to be that side. I'm going to choose this one and offset to this side. I'll choose this one and offset to this side. All right. Let me move these down just so they don't get confused through here. So we've got now a mirror of that panel edge right there. And I'm going to go to MPanel Production. I'm going to go to the Add Mesh feature, and I'm going to add a mesh between 2, 3, or 4 edges. I click Add Mesh. I'm going to select the bottom. Because there is no right side, I just hit Enter on my keyboard. Select the top, Enter again. All right, let's do that again. Bottom is no right, so I hit Enter. Top is no left, so I hit Enter. Finally, bottom, Enter. Top, Enter. All right, so by selecting these meshes now, let's move them away from, I'll just click Move. Let's move them over here, just away from our line work. And now I can select all 3 of these, and I can choose again to make a panel. And I can make all 3 of those at one time, delete the old. So now, here's what I have. Let's go back and get our original 2 panels. Alright, so all of this was just the sacrificial panels and our line work. I really don't need that anymore because what I have here are individual panels. Now you'll notice that when you make some very slim panels, that things like maybe the panel ID number are outside of the panel. It's not a big deal. That's actually just an identification number. However, if that's something you want to be inside the panel, simply turning the points on, selecting that data, and then moving it inside the panel is all you need to do. Again, it's not needed, but if it's something that bugs you and you want it inside the panel, it's just an attribute feature that you can pull inside there. However, I do need things like this now. I want some seam allowance because I want to be able to seam these together. So I'm going to go to my seam allowance tool, and I'm going to choose the top and the bottom at a 1/2 inch and nothing over here on the sides because there's no anything on the side. I can choose all these at the same time, run the seam allowance tool, and what you'll notice is a 1/2 inch is added on the top and bottom of each panel, nothing on the sides, delete the old objects. And what I wanted to show you is that if I now actually have a panel, and again, if you want that number inside there, you simply turn the control points on, select it, and then you can move it inside the panel if you'd like. Control points off. But on this, I just wanted to show you that, and certainly if you don't need to do this now, but if you would mirror that panel again, what that does is, let me turn this just so, for visual aspects, let me turn it blue so we can see. But I can click move, and I'm going to move that, the seam allowance from the, let's say the endpoint out here to an endpoint, yeah, out here. Oop, let me move it, I guess. Move this. And as you sew that along and sew that together, you're going to see that that panel there perfectly matches. And that creates a foldable element there, so that you can actually have a pocket. You can shorten that up if you only wanted the pocket to shorten a certain distance. You could certainly trim these lines off and just make that mesh only a certain distance. But that's how you use the mirror feature of Rhino to ungroup a sacrificial panel first, ungroup it, and then that becomes, delete that one, that becomes a full panel set there that you can print out and actually have a foldable pocket underneath that you can import or secure a bimini bar to that. Any questions, contact us at support@MPanel.com.